So in for repair today we have our John Deere's, two of them. In fact, we have a 7710 and our 8410. We also have an Ivor Williams trailer, and we have the Case Puma 240 in as well. But just before we get started, I know this has gone out on one of Cahill's videos there. It's just positions available at Finnegan's there. We have agricultural apprentices and full-time mechanics and drivers, full and part-time positions available. So if you want to get your CV into info@finnegansfarm.ie, get them in there. There is a few positions available. We have got a few CVs in. Send them in there and we'll go through them and get back to you. So first of all, we're going to head over to Caleb.
Oh, jeez, man, how are you getting on? So, this trailer now, this is the one that we restored probably 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And of course, someone said to plug into the trailer and we've no lights. What we do, we have a left side light and that's about the height of it. Now, my trailer plug, if you can see inside in there, is very crowded. The back of the plug, there was a wee rubber that once you close up the back of it, it seals it, and there was no rubber in the back of it, so it was taking in all the water and moisture, and it's corroded away at Tanton. Now when it comes to these trailers, it's the sort of thing that generally a lad would hook in, realise there's no lights, and there's two things he'd do. He'd either leave the trailer or he'd go on with no lights. So it's not a good thing to have not working. So I have this one finished up here now, and there's no exposed copper, everything's all done right, and I'll even put a cable tie on it to stop it from getting snagged. So fairly simple job, and a fairly common job to have to do here on the farm. So that's that. Stick around now.
So 7710 in, and it's still in here. We'll go back a couple of days ago when Caleb was diagnosed the problem, and you can see him there working away at it. Sean.
So here we are now, a couple of days into the past and the future, whatever you want to say. Anyways, this is how the job's going. So a front crankshaft seal is leaking, and as you can see, a little bit of stripping to do to get to it. But we need to take off our crankshaft pulley here on the front. So I have a video there. I can't actually see it with my eyes as to exactly where it's coming from, but we're lovely and clean everywhere above our crankshaft pulley, and I have a wee video just showing, and you can see exactly where it's appearing from. So right now we're trying to take it off, but of course it's not a simple thing to. It's only on a keyway, so it shouldn't be on a taper. It probably is still, but I can't pull it off, so I have to make this very agricultural looking bracket. Now a wee skim of the grind, I would do it a world of wonders, but sure, look, we'll do that and we'll paint it after and stick it up on the shelf somewhere. Probably never be used again. But all I have to do with this is, there's 2 holes, or there's 4 holes around the crankshaft pulley, and what that's for is if you have a front PTO, you'll have a coupler here and a shaft going out the front. And surprisingly enough, I actually took one of these off a tractor a couple of months ago, but I feel it ended up in the scrap from Mario Buddy. But anyways, so if I bolt this on, the idea in this is, once this is mounted, I can use this bolt here to jack the pulley off. So fairly heavy lump, bit of a steel. It's easier to just pick 2 holes than 4. It's not a triangular piece, so I can't do it that way. But anyways, it should be okay. Now there's a water leak on the far side as well that we have to sort, which now that I can actually see it, this whole front cover has to come off just where it meets the timing cover, I'm fairly sure, because pressure tested before we took it out, and we'll sort that out while the radiator's here. So yeah, back to you, Paul.
Sean, where are we now at this stage?
We've all the parts now, Paul.
Yeah.
A day for out and then.
So we've all the parts. We were just, myself and Sean were at Silage the last few days, so you got a bit of a break from the workshop, and we got out and about, and we've still a little bit to do, but yeah, 8410 is priority there at the minute with John B to get hay out back onto the plough. 7710 wouldn't do a massive workload on the farm. Still very handy to have her in the place there for moving trailers, for slurry tanks and whatever it is. So yeah, look, we just hadn't got time to get back at it, but we have all the parts, and you'll see the boys putting that back together. Our 8410 was out ploughing with John B, all going well, loving it he was. But the next morning we found a little bit of a puddle of coolant which was underneath the tractor. Now, it wasn't John B, but it was actually the tractor that made the puddle. So what went on, Sean? We did diagnose an issue with the water pump, wasn't it?
We did, yes. So a seal went, and then we've a wee leak off here, so we do. You can see that. So that seat would have went and she would have leaked off from here. And then you have a hole in your water pump there. Show you.
Yeah.
There's a problem in there.
Yeah.
It just saves it going in here.
So it just saves the water coming through, and it has a telltale sign on it, and they are on probably most water pumps anyway, like you will have a leak off point on them, so at least then you can investigate it. So yeah, the seal was gone here. Now, we couldn't get the seal on its own, so you can't?
No, you have to get the whole pump.
So you have to get the whole water pump. It comes as one assembly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. I think it was around the €500 mark. Not a cheap fix, but a water pump on a tractor like that,
Vital.
yeah, it's vital just to have it, especially the heavy work that's going to be doing. So yeah, you see a picture of the boys there. There were video of them disassembling it, putting it back together, and hopefully now she'll be ready for the road. So yeah, 8.4 tonne is back. Apart from a bit of a soft wheel here we see as well.
You can blame John for that.
Yeah, so he needs to pump that one up and get her back on the road.
Have it? Right?
Yeah, fingers. Go ahead.
Crash.
Hold on.
No, have it, still have it.
Hold on.
Fingers out.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks very much.
So in this week's tips and tricks, we have the 240 case Puma in. Now we are changing the wheels on it to go sewing, which means that it was on the sprayer and we had to put the wheels in on the sprayer to match the wheel track, and now we have to bring them out. Now to take this out can be a little bit of an ordeal at times, can't it, Calum, there, because there is muck and crap, and it's a tapered cone system that's on these, very much similar to the John Deere's and that, but we actually think this is the better one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we haven't had any problems at all with this whatsoever with it coming loose or anything like that, so it seems to be very reliable, because we change it twice a year or 4 times a year, whatever.
Yeah.
Practically for now. But it's often, and we've never had them come loose so far.
So the proof of that is getting them off is they are tight.
And Mick has a bit of a tip and a trick here that we would have learned from taking the first, which was 185 I think,
yeah.
many years ago. It's just on the bolts themselves, they are just a chamfer the ends, isn't it?
Yeah, these are the wheel studs, and they when you take them, or the clamping studs, but that's your jacking point there. But if you run them in with the full of the bolt on them, the head spreads a bit, and when it's coming back out, it chews the threads out of it, and it's in shit.
Yeah. So we also have, because there is a circlip holding on these, we have seen sometimes that the circlip has popped on them and it may move.
I think on the first one we had to go wider with the circlip on it. We were filling air tanks or something.
Yeah, so what we've done is we have made, because there is a centre stud on it, we have made end caps here which actually bolt into the ring as well, and we can bolt them into the end. So it's just a pure safety device for not
Stop the wheel falling off.
So that's normally what we're looking at. It's only a cap with the bolt in the centre and a sock clip on that groove.
So not really going to stop at.
No, it's
So we're just going to demonstrate how we actually jack it off the axle here. We have a set of bolts jacking off points, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's 2 cones, so there's 2 tapers on either side that will split these wedges from the outside piece. Now once you have our bolts out, we can put in our jacking studs, and we run them in to push that wedge back out.
So then once that wedge is out, we can actually move.
Yeah, so that'll allow us then to once the wedge is off it, it will quite easily then
No harm just to give them
so that's our 2 wedges back, and once they are back, then we're completely adjustable on our widths.
So we're going to adjust this right out because of the wide 1050 tyres. They may run very close here to the side of the cab.
Yeah.
So we're just going to give them as much clearance as we can on it.
Yeah, because if we put on our narrow wheels with them out here, so way outside the tractor, so we end up having to put them in and set them to 72 Santos.
Yeah. So look,
wheels.
they're not a massive, they're not too hard to change once the bolts come loose. But again, it's no harm to chamfer the bolts, put a track on them. Blow in around and clean it out, put a bit of grease on the bolts then if you're jacking them off. You just don't want, because them threads can be dry. And look at that, it's not too bad of a job to do. So we get that set up and we get the tyre bang onto it. So that's it for this week's Workshop by Edinson. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the videos, they are free as well, and you will get them in our feed. So from everyone here at Finnegan's Farm, we'll talk to you all next Wednesday.